Hello and welcome back everyone to Foxboro's Fortress.
This is Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Brought to you by Leading Lights, LLC.
Hey, a little back everyone to Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. I'm Cecil, and today is my first solo episode of Foxboro's Fortress. Just me today, so let's have some fun. The Revolution won on the road for the first time this past weekend. Midweek. Played on Wednesday this week. It's thrown me for a whirl. 2-1 win over Atlanta United. It was close till late, but a win is a win. And you also have ourselves a match against second place in the East as it stands, Inter Miami, on Saturday. You will probably be seeing this Saturday morning, so bear with me. Appreciate Leading Lights for sponsoring this episode. More on them later, but for now, let's jump into that Atlanta United match. Man, it was a match, all right. We had ourselves a goal that really should have been a goal get ruled out for some offsides, I guess. You do you, I guess. It's all up to PRO at the end of the day. Can't do anything to change that. But we move. That definitely should have been a goal by Al-Hassan Yusuf, let's be honest now. So we get ourselves a nice early goal that, gets wiped off. And soon after that, 38th minute, Fafa Picult gets himself a goal, puts Atlanta up 1-0 in the 38th. And then an Atlanta guy gets a yellow a few minutes later, just before half. We go into the half down 1-0. And we're not winning any possession awards. It's just not what we're doing today. Or Wednesday. Yeah. It didn't look great. We really needed to actually have something going for us. And we didn't. Which is not helpful. We're on the road. We haven't won a road game all year. You go to the half 1-0 down. Not totally your control, but at the end of the day, you need to show something. And I feel like we didn't show much in that first half. Moving on, second half, Matthew Edwards gets yellow to start that out. And then we get to see, for what looks to be the second time ever this season, you have Diego Fagundes and Carlos Cecil share the pitch for, this is the longest they've started together. He had one other moment. I think it was against Columbus. But yeah, he subs in for Griffin Yao in the 60th minute. Along with just 6 minutes later, Luca Langoni, an underwhelming game for him. He hadn't really, after a bunch of great games in a row, he's taken like 2 off. But after having 1 goal and 6 assists in how many matches we played, it's impressive. Peyton Miller goes on the wing after that, and minutes later, 73rd, Will Sands gets his first MLS goal, courtesy of a Carlos Hill assist. Right back in it. And 5 minutes later, Peyton Miller puts us up. Atlanta looked defeated. They try their best to make substitutions to aid their cause. Brooklyn Reigns gets a dumb yellow. Latte Law is brought in the 88th. Tershman is finally subbed in the 88th. Carlos gets a late yellow, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, except for the fact that Atlanta, they had a ton of chances in that last 5 minutes. First 5 minutes, last 5 minutes. Even, I'll stretch that to 10. First 10, last 10. They looked dangerous, which is not what you want to see from a Revs perspective. Looking at a team that sits right now bottom of the East, behind Philly due to goal difference. Actually, no, they're bottom, straight bottom, 4 points. That's not a good look with a team that didn't play Latte La until late. They played Moranchuk the whole game, but they're also missing Almiron. So, not a great look for us, honestly. But we get out of Atlanta with a win. We're feeling nice because we won a road game. It's not the prettiest of wins. but it's a win nonetheless. Moving on to a one good, one bad here. And there's a few things you could go for. My one good, it's Matt Turner's performance. Without Matt Turner, we do not win that game. Without Matt Turner, we may as well lose that game. And it shows how valuable he is as a player to us. We also got to give props to Brooklyn Rance, one of his better games in a Revs kit. Will Sands getting his first MLS goal and first career goal. He's been incredibly consistent with Peyton, like coming off the bench now and making his way into that winger spot. He's been much better than we were expecting, and it's a nice surprise. Fofana had a great game. Feingold had a solid game. Carlos Hill gets himself an assist. Almost had two, but he gets deflected. Unlucky there. You get to see a little bit of Eric Klein. And then Diego Fagundez didn't do a whole lot. I was hoping he'd do a little bit more. But when you can win on the road against an Atlanta team that brought in apparently a crowd of 30,000, which is their lowest MLS attendance of all time. Didn't know that. Not good for them. But hey, we take what we can get and we move. My one bad, we do not go into stats. We're not looking at anything pretty. I'm surprised we actually won possession in both halves. Because it looked like they had the ball majority of the time, which is honestly surprising to me. In the second half, although we apparently won possession, they had 17 shots, 6 of them being on target. We had 5 shots and 3 on target. That's a problem. Leo Campano's been out. Marco Zambrano hasn't shown to be anything special. Dora Turgeman can't do all this work, and he really hasn't done all this work. You need to see more out of Turgeman, especially right now. But man, I am recording this very late. I'll be yawning a bit. But 5 shots in that second half when Atlanta has 17 is ridiculous. We gotta step that up. They had 27 touches in our 18, whereas the previous half they had 16. We only had 7 in the second half and 3 in the first half. That's not good. We had 23 clearances in that first half, 27 in the second half. The amount of times we had to just put it away is beyond me. It's because we just couldn't, we weren't doing anything. It seemed like they always had the ball. And it showed they had a ton of shots. That's not something you want to see. Matt Turner, if Matt Turner's not there, we lose that game. So, going forward, this is going to be something to watch for in that Miami game. We'll talk about in a bit. Because we're looking at this like, hey, Miami has Berterame, Messi, DePaul, sometimes Suarez. They've got all these, Segovia. They've got all these guys. And that's going to be an issue. If we're letting up 17 second half shots to Atlanta United, what's Miami going to do to us? And on the road as well, this is going to be a scary match for the Revs. Moving on to 5-a-side, though. I had Hoyos, Fofana, Hill, Turgeman, who I captained, and Feingold. Their scores on FAMOB averaged out to a 7.4, whereas Cam, he had Turner, who he captained, got an 8.9, man of the match, goes up to a 9.9 for him, along with Sands, good pull there, Yusuf, Langoni, Almiron, who didn't play, he wasn't even on the squad. I ended up taking home the victory with a 7.4 to Cam's 6.26. Almiron not playing and being there aids me a ton, and that feels good. Winning feels nice, and overall, that puts me, 2-7? We'll get to that in a moment. The computer, just to see how we stack up. Turner, Fofana, Hill, Picault, and Sands. are your basically best 5 from the Wednesday match. The Cam snagging Turner as captain, great pull there. I feel like he's done that a few times now, but worked out. Moving on to our predictions. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Stay with me now. I'll try and stay with me as well, so bear with it. I'm going to give my man of the match to Turner. He, with a third time now, without him, we don't win that game. So, he deserves all the credit in the world there. Sans, I want to give props to him. His consistent performances, him getting the goal feels great. He's been great this season. And so, good to see him being a good option to start on a regular basis. My prediction was 2-0 Revs, Feingold, and Hoyos own goal. I did get the Feingold minute right. I had 73rd, and Feingold didn't score. It was Sands who scored in the 73rd, but hey, always nice to get something right. And also the Revs scoring 2 goals and winning. Cameron, he had the Revs winning, but 4-0 with Tershman scoring 3 times and Langoni scoring once. Wasn't that commanding of a victory, but alas, we move. So, yeah, going to the current tally, I'm 2-7, Cam's 3-2, Raf's 2-0, Sam's 1-0, and Abe is 1-0. Those are all the guys that have participated in Fortress 5 aside. Yeah, it feels good to get a road win. It was a scrappy road win because, we left it late, but a win is a win no matter what, how you look at it. 3 points is 3 points. It moves us into third in the East with a game in hand. We haven't drawn a match. 5 wins, 3 losses, plus 5 goal difference, sitting on 15 points. Feels good. It feels good to be good again. At least we think. I don't know. Still only 8 matches in. It's going to be interesting to look at. I was saying this during the game. If we can't pull ourselves together on the road, this stretch, Dax McCarty said this on Revs Recap, I believe, earlier on in the season. If this is a season-defining stretch for the Revolution, but if we can't pull our act together in like the 3 road matches we have, I honestly don't know how we look at it. We have it was 7 of the next 10 at some point that the Revs had at home. But if we can't win the 3 that are away from home, or at least a draw, it doesn't look good. Because now you're looking at this hey, you might be doing great at home, but you're not performing on the road. And now you have the back half of your season after the World Cup all on the road. And then it becomes less of a season-defining stretch because you don't... all that home advantage, it's not going to matter if you can't pull yourself together on the road. And so you might end up being, if we keep continuing to be great at home, might be top 3 in the East if we're great at home. But if we can't do well on the road, we're gonna falter. We're gonna fall to 7th, 8th, 9th. So it does matter, these road games. They all matter. But this Atlanta United one was very important. They're a low-level team in the East, and they didn't have their best guys together, so definitely would have hoped for a better performance on Wednesday. Now we walk into Miami after this, hoping for the best. But Miami's a very dangerous squad, and we'll hear more about that and how Miami looks ahead of this Revs match just after this break with Leading Lights LLC.
Unlock the power of your platform data with Leading Lights, experts in transforming raw numbers into compelling benchmarks. Leading Lights helps a variety of companies turn insights into engaging stories that drive growth. Elevate your brand with data-driven content that captivates your audience and sets you apart from the competition with Leading Lights. Visit their website at leadinglights.io to see how you can transform your platform data.
Hey, a little back one too. Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Once again, I'm Cecil. It's just me today. We got Miami looking ahead to. It's tomorrow when I'm recording this, but it's today when you're seeing this. Yeah, Miami. Do they need an introduction? Don't think so. Sitting second in the East. They got Messi. They got Dane St. Clair. They got Segovia. They got DePaul. They got everybody. They're the team to beat in MLS because of the publicity. In my opinion, Nashville's the team to beat. If you can beat Nashville, and also San Jose at this point, that's besides the point. Conversations within conversations. You know what I mean? Noah Khan. New album came out today. Super excited. Deny, Deny, Deny is my favorite, but Staying Still is second, in my opinion. Fantastic, really. But yeah, Miami, they just got rid of their coach. That was not shocking to me, honestly, because they demand excellence. But they've got all these stars. They've got Mikael, they got from Palmeiras on loan. They got DePaul, like I said, Segovia, Allende, Messi, Berterame. You've also got guys like Suarez, who's coming off the bench, Julian, who's injured, Salvetti, Ayala, both injured. They got these guys, and man, they are a dangerous side, as we know. We've been going to the head-to-head. They've won 7. We've won 3 of our 10 meetings. Last time out, they beat us 4-1. Then before that, 2-1. Then before that, 6-2. And then before that, 4-1. Our last victory against them was June 10th of 2023 when, stay with me now, Fall Mob lineup's bugging out on me here because you're missing a player on the outside. I don't know who that is. But basically, the lineup the last time the Revolution beat Inter Miami was goalkeeper, Georgi Petrovic. 3 defenders in McCoon, Romney. I love McCoon, by the way. I talk about him taking to the corner all the time and fumbling that game for us. And Andrew Farrell. Latif Blessing, Ima Boateng, Polster, Hill, and I don't know who else started that game. Because there's a missing spot on the Fall Mob lineup. I can't see it. And then Bobby Wood and Gustavo Bo finish out that starting lineup, from what I can see. At that time, Kessler and Barrero were both out, and on the bench you had Josie Altidore, Justin Renix, Ben Sweat, Josh Boma, Earl Edwards, Omar Gonzalez, Jack Paniotto, Jack Mobrioni, and Esmer Bayraktarovich, who, speaking of Esmer, love the guy. He just had 9.5 against Pek Zwolle in a 6-1 win for PSV Eindhoven. 2 goals, 2 assists. Good for him. And obviously you had Bruce Arena as your head coach. Not much I can... Man, what a team that Revs team was. Anyways, we haven't won since then. That was a long time ago. So, if there's ever been a game where the Revolution need to step it up, it's Saturday. It's against Inter Miami. Mitrovic is doing some fantastic things, and we're already seeing that. But it's very soon to see. We're gonna see some high level MLS competition now, and Miami's phase 1 of that. And this is going to be probably one of the toughest match. Obviously, they're going to be one of the toughest matches that the Revs have on their schedule. But before the World Cup, this is, I think, if not the toughest match we have pre-World Cup. Going away to Inter Miami's new stadium, literally new stadium, and coming off of a short week, playing on Wednesday, and then having to go, play Open Cup midweek this coming week. You've had played, I want to say, was talking to my dad about this. It's like 4 games in 15 games, or 4 games in 15 days, or 5 games in 15 days. I'm not totally sure. But the Revs have played a ton of soccer recently. So it's gonna be an interesting match because you don't really know what type of team you're gonna see from the Revs. You're gonna see a sluggish side that we saw against St. Louis, or you're gonna see the team that went on to beat Cincinnati 6-1. What Revs team are you gonna get? You're gonna get a team that won the game or lost the game by 3. I'm not totally convinced of what team we might get. So that's my big question entering this match. But me and Cam actually got on the phone prior to me recording this episode, and got our 5 sides down along with predictions. And he got to pick first. He picked Messi, and I followed that up with taking DePaul and Turner as my 2 and 3. Turner, I rate him higher than St. Clair this year. Last season, I think I would have said something different. I really rated St. Clair last year, but he has had a rough start to his life in Miami. With that, rough start, I'm giving my nod to Turner just because he's looked fantastic this year. Going back to Cam, he takes Cecil. Who is he going to take there? And he's also going to take Berterame. He hasn't had a bad start to the season. 2 goals, 2 assists in 9 matches for Miami. But he hasn't lived up to his $15 million price tag that they brought him in for from Monterrey. So it'll be interesting to see. This is going to be a big match for him. He needs to show something to these Inter Miami fans that really announces his presence to the league. He scored, but for $15 million, that's nowhere near what you're looking for. So this will be a real test for him, and that's something that the Revs can take advantage of. That pressure that the fans will be putting on him after spending the big bucks on him. They don't really have a concept of big bucks, do they? Because they just do that all the time. Anyways, pops back over to me, and I take Langoni with my striker. I think he can do things. I think he's got himself a solid performance against Miami. I think he's got that in him. He's had great performances before. We're yawning once again. It's too late for this. I need other people to keep me up. This is why I have co-hosts. And Michael, the guy from Palmeiras, Miami defender that I talked about earlier. He's had a good start to life. I was between him and Luan. I rate Michael a little bit higher. Mikel, I'm not sure how you say it. I rate him a little bit higher than Luan. I think he's just a better player overall. So that's who I went with at my 7. Pops back over to Cam for his final 2 picks, where he goes for Peyton Miller at defender. Now, this is subject to controversy. Cam actually brought this up. Until FOMUB changed their position, we're just going to go by the FOMUB positions. And if FOMUB's way off, then we'll step in. But right now, Peyton has still played left back this season at one point, and so it's not far off. Yes, he's been playing more winger. They have him listed as a left wing back, so I'm okay with people picking him at defender. And then, obviously, finishing off with St. Clair at keeper. Unless you plan on taking Parisian and thinking he's going to start over Turner, he's the pick. And then I finished off my draft with Segovia. He's had a great season so far. I think it's 1 goal, 4 assists. Can't complain with that. He's had himself a good start to the season. I think he can have himself a good match. Going down to predictions, I have 3-2 Miami. Messi, DePaul, and Segovia are all going to score, with Heel and Langoni scoring for the Revs. It's going to be a close game. I think DePaul steals it in the 85th. We didn't put numbers on these ones. We were trying to make this quick. Yeah, I don't see the Revs winning. This is a very difficult side, and just schedule congestion and everything. I don't see us pulling out of this one. I have DePaul stealing it at the death. Whereas Cam has a 2-2 draw with Messi getting a brace, and then Peyton Miller and Luca Langoni having their efforts enough to level the match on the score sheet as the match would come to a close. Just to mention here, Cam obviously captained Messi, and I captained DePaul for my team. I think DePaul has had a great start to life in Miami, and there's a very real chance that he has a very good game this Saturday. So he's obviously, we know he's a great player, but he is a very, very dangerous player that the Revs need to keep an eye on at all times. I feel like in the past, when the Revs have played Miami, we've let these really good players get loose early, and so the first 20 minutes of this match will be crucial for the Revs not to give up an early goal. So that's where I see the Revs really needing to step up and perform well. So that's what's to watch for there. It's a shorter episode today. As you guys know, it's just me. Don't got anyone else to talk to. Someone tag Cam in the comments. Tell him to, choose me over the Celtics next time. I was watching the draft and listening to Noah Khan. We'll speak on the injury report. What's the update on Ceballos? Ceballos, I don't believe we'll see him. He's coming off a groin injury, day to day, schedule congestion. I don't want to see him back until next week. He's a great defender. I think we need him against Miami, but I don't think we will, because I do think we need to keep him healthy. Also, Jack Newell. Why can't you just stay gone? He's been upgraded from out to questionable. Why can't you just stay gone? Another No Con lyric. Feeling fantastic that the new album is out. Yeah. With that being said, we're both exhausted. Revs are exhausted from playing too many games. I'm exhausted. It's way too late to be recording. That's another No Con lyric. We're feeling fantastic. If you're not already following us on X and Instagram, please do so at Foxboro Fortress. Make sure you're following whatever podcasting platform you use: Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Make sure to go check us out over there. If you want to be featured in the next episode, let us know your thoughts. You'll see a post. It'll have a red Revs jacket. That's a bit of a blurry photo. That's a bad signal for, leave your thoughts below to be featured. Make sure you're checking out Footnotes. It's not Footnotes anymore. It's actually just me. I'm writing a ton of articles over on what was the Footnotes page now. It's now the at Foxboro Fortress Medium page, but it's under my name. So make sure you go check that out. I'm writing a ton of stuff over there, match breakdowns and look-aheads all over there as well. So if you want something more writing form, sitting down, want a bit more concise on what we're talking about, make sure you go check that out. If you're looking for something, sit down worthy, just listen to it, you're in the right place. We've got everything here. Thanks, Leading Lights LLC, for sponsoring this episode again. You never know what day it's coming for us, our next episode, because the Rev schedule confuses me every day. So that's something to keep in mind. So watch out for when we next post. It will be soon. Got some fun stuff coming up. So, yeah, it's my first time saying this line. We got nobody else. So, let's have some fun. This was Foxboro's Fortress.